Hi guys, this is Syed here once again. I would like to thank you all for viewing my demos on Veritas NetBackup. So I thought let me present you one more topic on this, which is how to configure the Microsoft SQL always on database availability group using the Veritas NetBackup. So we have multiple things. So I thought today let me share with you guys to how to configure the policies. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the my lab session where I'll show you what are the things that we need to look into it in order to configure the policies for always on availability group for Microsoft SQL Server databases. Okay, so this is the basic my master server administration console, and I have few other servers. I have the media server as well. This is my media server. Okay, and these are my two SQL always on databases, which you can see it as I named it as SQL 01 and SQL 02. Okay, so in this I have configured my always on databases on which I created one databases which is synchronized with my SQL 2 database. As you can see here, this is synchronized with the SQL 1. So if you just I'll just go through the overview of this. If you just click on this always on high availability group, so you can see there is a primary listener port on which the database have been replicated. So this is my primary database and this is my secondary database. So normally what happens if this node goes down, so as it is in synchronized state, whenever the node goes down, the primary one, the secondary will become primary and the primary will become secondary. Okay, so this is how it's a cluster configuration. It's a different topic. Okay, so for as of now I'm just telling you the overview how it was configured. Okay, so here you can see it as this is my primary and you can see SQL 02 is my secondary database. Okay, and the availability group, you can see the database configured for wide world importers. Okay, so which is synchronized with my primary node. So what is the advantage of configuring the always on databases on your NetBackup master server? Here basically you will be having too many database in your production environments. Okay, so basically in order to achieve the always on databases configuration on the NetBackup, you need to have look into it few things where you need to have the admin credentials or the sysadmin credentials on the databases. Okay, basically these credentials will be given by the DB admin. Once you have the access to that database, then only you can be able to create a policies for that, or you can create a script for this to in order to trigger the backups. Okay, so once the DBA team has provided you with the sysadmin access, so if, say for instance, if I go on this database, just right click on the properties. Okay, so here you can see the generals and uh, in the files and everything you have been access to this particular file groups and everything. Okay, and in the options you can see what are the features it has been enabled on this. Okay, so let me go to that always on availability group. Okay, so here it will show you what is the availability group name. Okay, and the backup preference is primary. Okay, and the permissions which was given on that particular database for that instance. Okay, so here you can see what are the server instance are there, which is SQL 01 and 02. Okay, so in order to configure the policies for the always on databases, the Veritas NetBackup uh, recommendations is like you need to select the primary node as the backup preference. Okay, so why it is being defined as we need to select this primary? Okay, so basically it's a standard practice from the Veritas NetBackup that as per the document and the standards, we need to select this primary options. Say for instance, if you have selected the preferred secondary or the secondary only, so what happens, you won't be able to capture the correct original database whenever you're trying to back it up. Say for instance, if you select the secondary only or the preferred secondary or any replica. Okay, so what happens in this case? So say for instance, now the database is on the SQL 01. Okay, so when the backup got triggered, maybe due to some other reason, or maybe the failover, it has been moved to SQL 02. Okay, so in that case, the primary will become your SQL 02. Okay, so that's how you won't be able to know which is the primary and which is the secondary node. Okay, so in that case, the best practice from the Veritas is you just need to select the backup preference as primary. So in that case, what happens, whichever is the primary node, it will take the backup from the primary node itself. Okay, so this is the thing that you need to just look into it. You need to select, you need to inform the DBA team that put that backup preference as a primary instead of any replica or the secondary only or preferred replica or something. Okay, so once you're done with that configuration, okay, and once you have an access to the databases, okay, so here basically the DBA team will be adding you to that particular databases. Okay, so here you can see there is an user called B admin, and this server role you can see you will be having an access as sysadmin. So basically sysadmin is having a privilege, high privilege, that you will be having an access to modify, write or read any data of the particular databases on that particular instance. So once you get sysadmin access on that, you will be able to connect to that database, and you can run the script for creating a policies on the net backup. Okay, so once you have an access, the next step what we need to do is, whichever is your primary, basically we need to create a script on both the uh, nodes, which is SQL 01 and SQL 02. Okay, so what we need to do is go to SQL 01. This is, I am on SQL 01. Open your net backup SQL client. Okay, just let me scroll down. So here is my net backup MS SQL client. Okay, make sure that you will be opening it as run as an administrator. Okay, so click on S once it pop-ups a window. So once you are done, you'll come up with this screen. Go to the files and click on SQL Server Connection Properties. Okay, so basically once you open up this page, you need to give the which database or which instance you are trying to connect. Okay, so as you will be on SQL 01, and you need to mention the instance of that particular SQL 01. Okay, so once it comes up, you will be selecting the database for which you are trying to configure the backups. This window will help you to create the scripts in order to configure the backups. Okay, so here you can see this is the host, which is SQL 01, and the instance is SQLDB. Okay, so I am having only one instance over here. So if the DBA team does not give you the access and you're trying to access with your user ID or something, okay, so once you click on apply, it will fail. It will says you don't have permissions to access that instance. Okay, so in my case, I have an access to that particular database. So once I click apply, I didn't get any prompt on that. Just close the window, open it, and you will be having an option called backup, restore and manage scripts. So we'll see later on, but as of now for this session, I'll be showing you how to create the backup script for the databases. Okay, so just click on the backup SQL thing. So here you can see you have the instance, and in that instance you will be having a database. Okay, so this is the database which we are trying to configure for this time period. So select that particular database. Okay, so type of backup is full. Okay, so you have two options, which is launch immediately and save option. So we are not going to select this first option, which is launch immediately. So as we don't want to trigger the job now, we are trying to save the script. Okay, so in this case, I have the same script over here. So what you need to do is, I'll just show you. Let me open that script. So basically the script will be stored in the files which where you install the Veritas NetBackup. So let me start from the initial location. So go to the C drive, open your program files, go to Veritas NetBackup dbext. So here you will be having scripts for all the databases for Sybase, SAP, Oracle, MS SQL, and DB2. In our case, we will be using MS SQL database. So here I have already created a script for this with a name of wwi underscore aoag. Okay, so basically what we'll be doing here is click on save. Okay, and click on backup. So it will open up a window where you need to give the name for that particular batch file. Okay, so in my case I have created a one batch file, okay, which I'll show it to you here. Anyhow, I'll be trying to create for you once again with a name called 02. Okay, and click on save. Okay, so you'll come up with a window where it says, would you like to open this it in a notepad? Okay, yes, definitely I would like to open it. Okay, so in this case you will be seeing the details of the script which says operation as backup. Okay, what is the database name? The database name is worldwide importers. On which host it was? It was in SQL 01. Okay, on which instance? It is in SQL DB. This is my instance name. Okay, and what is your master server? This is the master server name, which is nbumaster.mylab.com. Okay, and the maximum transfer size is 6 and the block size is 7, and number of buffers would be the 7, and end operation is true. Okay, so once you are done with this, you need to add one more line to this particular script where you as we are selecting a primary node, so this option as preferred replica true. Okay, so what happens with this preferred replica true? Okay, so what you need to do is under this maximum transfer size you need to paste this preferred replica true. So what exactly it does is once you paste this preferred replica true to the script, so whichever the database is the primary one, okay, that means whichever the primary database is replica true is set to true, then in that case it will take the primary database as a backup. Okay, it won't go for the secondary one. So say for instance here you have only one database, maybe in the production environment you will be having maybe in one instance you'll be having 20 database. So in that case you need to copy and paste for all the databases. So say for instance I have let me paste it a couple of times so that it would be easy for you to understand. Okay, so in this case, for example, in your production environment you will be having 1 2 3 and 4 database. So in this case you need to write for all the database as preferred replica true. Okay, so what it does is for each an instance on each and every database it will look for the primary node and it will take the backup, it will trigger the backups. So this is how you need to copy paste this particular line for all the databases. If you have 80 databases on that particular instance you need to do it. It's a painful but still this is the standard practice from the net backup. Okay, and this particular uh, batch scripting option is till 8.0 and 8.1.2. Okay, but from 8.2 version we have the good feature where you can just we don't need to go with this batch script. Okay, so let me save this. Once you save this option, okay, so you're done with the script. The same thing you need to do on the other node which is SQL 02. Okay, so let me open the MS SQL client over here, NetBackup SQL client. So drop down this Veritas NetBackup, just right click on this and say run as an administrator. Click on S. So the same thing you need to follow. Open SQL Server connection properties. First try to connect with your credentials. If it's connected then it's fine. If not, you need to check with the DBA team why you are not able to connect to that particular instance. Okay, so normally it takes time to pop up the window because it will see the connection from your local database to your particular credentials on that. So even for the backup window, it will come up with some. It will took some time to pop up. So once it is done, it will be faster. But for the initial thing, it is bit slow. So here in my case, this is the SQL02 host. Okay, in this the instance name is SQLDB. So let me apply this so I don't have any issues connecting with this user. Okay, close it and just open backup SQL server object. Okay, so here also I'm selecting the same database, doing the same thing, click on save. So I have my script ready for this. So let me open that same location where the script saves on this particular Veritas folder. So let me go to my C drive, program files, Veritas NetBackup, database extensions, and this is MS SQL. So I have one script which is ready. Okay, uh, if you just double click on that, you'll be seeing the same thing what we have did it on the node 1, which is SQL01. Okay, so you have the backup operation, database, host, instance name, master server. Okay, so here also we have given the preferred replica as true. Okay, so as I said you, whichever the node is primary, it will pick it up from that particular node to trigger the job. Okay, so now the scripts are ready for us. So we have scripts at both the ends. So as you can see here, this is on SQL02. We have script over here with the name wwiaoag, and on SQL01 we have the same script on the same location. Okay, so this is my script wwi underscore aoag. Okay, which is a batch file. So now we need to go to the master server. Okay, on which we are trying to create the policy. Okay, so this is my master server. Okay, so once you're connected to your master server, go to the policies. Okay, so here what we need to do is you need to create a policy with the name sql underscore aoag, which is nothing but always on availability group, which is aoag. Okay, so here what we are doing is we need to select the policy type as ms sql server, as we are trying to take the backup for microsoft sql. So here we need to make sure that the policy type is important. If you select a different policy type, you won't be able to trigger the job for this always on databases. Okay, so here you can see in the screen on the right side the name of that particular policy and the type and on which storage it was and what is the volume pool. Okay, and when it was created and everything. So just double click on that particular policy or okay, so we need to select the type of ms sql server. So as you can see here, the policy window is open now. So here we need to select the policy type as MS SQL Server. So as we are configuring it for the always on databases for Microsoft, so select this MS SQL, and you need to select the policy storage. If you're having the tapes, you can select the tape, or if you're having a disk storage, you can select those disk storage. Okay, so the next one is the schedule tab, where you need to define the policies for this, which is the daily policy. You need to define the window. Okay, and here you need to select the client, where you need to mention both the clients, which is sql01.mylab.com and sql02.mylab.com, because we are trying to configure the always on backup for the SQL server. So we don't know at which point of time the node will goes down. So in order to overcome this, we need to mention both the clients, as we have created a batch file on both the nodes. Okay, so once you define this clients on this particular client location and the backup selection, you need to select only from the primary node. Okay, so in my case my primary node is from sql01. So if I just click on this new, and if I say browse, what I need to do is I need to go to that particular location which I showed on sql01, like C program files, Veritas NetBackup. So it will connect to that particular node from my master server. So I need to define the path from the primary node instead of the secondary node, because in my case my primary node is on SQL 01 for that particular instance. So in this case I need to browse that particular batch file from my primary node. Here it will show you both the nodes SQL 01 and 02, as we have selected both the nodes in the client option. Okay, but whenever you're trying to select the batch file, you need to select it from the primary node, okay, which is SQL 01 in my case. So as you can see here, I have two clients, as we mentioned, both the clients SQL 01 and 02. So in this case, we need to select it from the primary node, which is SQL 01. Okay, go to the C program files. Okay, Veritas, go to the NetBackup, DBEXT, MSSQL. Okay, and here you need to select that particular batch file and click on OK. So once you select, you'll land up with this page. Okay, on this page where you can see the batch file was selected. Okay, so once you configured all the things, you need to select the attributes. As an SQL server, as a policy type, you need to define the schedule, you need to define the clients, you need to define the backup selections. So once you're done, everything is fine, good to go. So then you can trigger the job, okay, for that particular always on databases. So let's start trigger the policy manually. So just trigger manual backup and click on OK. So let's go to the activity monitor and see how it works. So here you can see the job got triggered with both the instance with SQL 01 and SQL 02. Okay, here in my case SQL 01 is my primary. Okay, so on 02 we don't have anything to be trigger the job, as the primary node on 01. So that's the reason 02 is having nothing on this. So let me see the database. So here is the database wide world importers, which we have configured on the net backup side. Okay, so it took the database backup. Okay, which is having this much of kilobytes written on that particular database. So my backup was successful for this particular SQL database policy. So this is how we will be creating a script for always on databases in order to configure your backups on net backup. So hope you enjoyed this video. Just give me your feedbacks on this so that I can uh, prepare more videos like this for you guys. And hopefully if anyone is interested to join the sessions with me, you are all welcome to join with me, and I can take up the classes for this Veritas NetBackup. Thank you so much once again. Thank you all.